Hi there, and welcome to my review for A Quiet Place. So A Quiet Place is a new little horror movie that's just come out. It's written and directed by John Krasinski and it stars him as well as his wife Emily Blunt. And it's a little interesting piece that's kind of fascinating. It's a horror film that's gained quite a lot of buzz right now, and it's one of those films which is just sort of rolling off a bit of hype, doing really well at the box office. It's not a film which is revolutionary. I don't think this film is anywhere near as clever and as innovative as some people seem to think it is, but it's definitely one of those films that's interesting. The basic premise is just a very simple horror one. It's basically a world where if you make sound, you're going to get killed. So it's all about people being silent. And the first thing to say about A Quiet Place that makes it really, really good is that it really uses sound and silence so well. In fact, throughout the entire film, sound and silence ebb and flow in and out of the picture, and it makes it really, really tense. In fact, the way the film is so quiet at points really is quite unnerving. It does rely quite heavily on music sometimes, which is often detrimental because I think an even more silent film could have been better here. But in general, I think this is really quite unnaturally quiet, and that's a testament to the boldness of the direction, which overall is actually quite bold. I mean, it's not a film which is revolutionary, but I actually think it's quite interesting how it does that. And the key thing is that this film is genuinely tense and suspenseful, and a good amount of it is actually quite scary. So A Quiet Place definitely works across the board as a kind of little horror movie. It is quite genuinely quite scary in parts and a little bit chilling, and it's certainly relatively intense. Unfortunately, aside from the horror aspect and the silent aspect, it's actually a really standard horror story. The themes here are all just the same sort of general stuff: family, love, grief. It's nothing that we haven't seen before, done a million times better in American cinema. It does have at least one good moment with the whole family and love idea, but in general it doesn't really add anything. In fact, if it wasn't for the whole silent style / silent gimmick, there's nothing in terms of the themes here which would make this a worthwhile film. It's actually just a pretty standard horror story with some dramatic overtones that only kind of work here and there. The only real problem I had was that the female lead was pregnant, and that whole trope of trying to keep silent during pregnancy and when you have a child just seems like such an artificial way to increase the tension in the film and to increase the stakes, and I can't say it's particularly well done. It also just feels like a way to overcomplicate things when I think much simpler scares could have been possible with the premise and probably would be more effective rather than just needlessly complicating it. I will also say that the first half of this film is really great, but it really just falls off towards the end. The final 20 minutes are pretty bad in parts. It's certainly a bit spotty. So yeah, A Quiet Place has flaws. It's messy, it's not particularly revolutionary, it's pretty standard, but it's nuts and bolts solid horror movie. You get what you get from it. It's a film which doesn't really put a foot wrong, but then again it doesn't particularly wow you either. It's really good for what it is. A film that's probably worth checking out if you're a horror fan, or just want something that feels a little different, even if it really is just don't think about it, leave your brain at the door, just kind of watch it for what it is. It's fine. I'd recommend it. I'd say you're going to get something out of it probably if you care for this kind of movie. So yeah, A Quiet Place is definitely a good film, but don't take that to mean that it's fantastic. It's certainly got its flaws. So have you seen A Quiet Place? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave me a comment and give this video a like if you liked it. You can subscribe if you want to watch more of my reviews, or you can follow me on Letterboxd or Twitter to read about what I'm watching, linked in the description. And A Quiet Place, it's a good film.